Hello. Hello and welcome back to Virtual Studio Party for Monday, April 26th with me, Kim Lee Coe, and my co-host,
Kal Honey.
So, geez, I didn't adjust this camera very well, did I?
Details.
So Virtual Studio Party, for those of you who have not been here before, first of all, thank you for coming. Welcome. It's the studio party that comes to you because it was started during our first lockdown here in Ontario, Canada, which was in March of 2020. And we are in our third wave now, and it's devastating the province. And so to get away from, and so many other places, I mean, oh my God, India's got it the worst of all right now. So to get away from all that doom and gloom, and from the fact that we can't see people we would like to be visiting in person and so on. That's why we have Virtual Studio Party. And also, for those of you who want to get creative in a more social setting, this is your opportunity. So this is not a class. I work on something, whether it's gel plate printmaking or some other printmaking or drawing or altered books or mixed media or image transfers or painting, or I did scratchboard last year at some point. So you never know. And whatever I'm doing, it's not a rehearsed demonstration. It is me trying some things out. Some things that maybe I had an idea about doing, and not necessarily. I might just be improvising right off the bat. So today I've had some things at the back of my head, germs of ideas, really more than actual ideas. And I'm going to be working with my 12-inch by 12-inch jelly plate. Okay, so that's the intro. I'm really glad to be here, everybody, and I see that there are a couple of people who've said hi.
A couple of our stalwarts. We have Rebecca and Valerie.
Hi, guys. So nice to see you here.
Yay.
I've got something drying on my 12 by 12-inch gel plate right now.
You're not supposed to let it dry, are you?
Because I'm doing a pickup print. So we'll see what happens.
Excellent. How exciting.
Just if anybody else is watching and is signed into YouTube or has a Gmail account, then you can sign into YouTube. Please feel free to join in the chat.
Yeah, say hi. Don't be shy.
Let us know where you're from and what you're working on. So what are Rebecca and Val working on today?
Well, they'll tell us in a moment. Annie has just joined us. She said, hi, Kim and Cal.
Oh, hi, Annie.
And I said to Val, how's my favorite running collager? And she says, doing good. Ran today and collaging.
Collaging now. So she is telling us what she's doing.
Yeah,
see? That's good. I see I've got a great big glob of paint on the side of my plate here.
Excellent.
Well, that still looks wet.
If you're not, if you don't usually comment, but can, just say hi if you'd rather just listen along.
It's just nice to say hi.
Know who's along with us. Yeah. So just say hi and then get on with whatever it is you're getting on with.
And you can burrow away.
Yeah, dig into the whatever is on the creative agenda. Rebecca says, homework for Cal, Cuba's still life. And how's it going, Rebecca? Is it turning you every which way, I hope?
Homework for Cal's a good thing. I wish I could do homework for Cal. It's not in a position to do so right now. I'm just going to get a piece of cardboard.
Do you need me to fetch it for you? Or
I know exactly
you know where it is? Okay,
whereas you won't. So.
Yeah, that's fine then. Annie says, hope you two are okay after the vaccine. I'm baking birthday cake for my daughter while listening to you two. Oh, that's great.
That's lovely. Yeah. Boy.
We put the YouTube back in YouTube.
The YouTube?
Yeah, she said while listening to YouTube.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm just getting warmed up.
Hopefully Rebecca is chuckling because she does appreciate your wordplay.
Well,
she's great that way.
She's a kinder woman than I.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a low bar, right? All things considered.
Kim felt a little under the weather for a day or two, but and we were both like very slightly sore in our shoulders. But compared to what everyone else experienced,
Cal says I was slightly sore in my shoulder. Honestly,
you said you had to like.
Really... I had to look at where the Band-Aid was to know where my shot was. So I don't think that even qualifies as slightly sore.
Yeah, and lots of people said, "Oh wow, you really know it when that needle went in." So I was like bracing myself, and she said, "You're done," and I'm like. You haven't even, you're done.
Both of us, we had different nurses injecting us, felt nothing with the injection. So we were lucky. I told her she was really good.
The pro, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like when people take blood from you, or if you're unfortunately needing an IV or something, I'm, of course, plump, so my veins are deeply buried. Cal is vascular man. That's my nickname for him because he's a vascular system study. There are so many networks of veins right out on the surface.
Well, to be fair, not so much on torso or anything, but on limbs. Sorry. I know, sorry. Never mind.
Vascular man, as I said. And so if I go to a laboratory where they take blood all day long,
no problems, right?
It is not a problem at all. They do it quickly. They find the vein. It goes in. It's painless. If I go to a hospital and a nurse at a hospital who spends most of her days doing other things than taking blood, oh my God, try to find the vein, try to get it in. Sorry, I'm talking about, those of you who are familiar with my work know that I do a lot of work related to hearts, veins, and arteries, and circulatory systems, and so on. And so, for me talking about this is not a problem, but I just realized that, there might be someone here who's sensitive to the topic. So I apologize if that's the case.
Well, why don't I pass along some of the comments?
Oh, that would be awesome.
So Annie is, as she mentioned, is baking a birthday cake for her daughter, lucky daughter.
Great.
What flavor, Annie? if
we're dying to know, as a way of vicariously enjoying that treat.
Really, when it comes to cake, is there any other flavor than chocolate? I'm not sure there is, but
there might be.
Some people do.
There might be. We have made the odd thing that wasn't chocolate that was okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And Rebecca says, I'm kind of loving cubism, actually, but I'm at a point that feels a bit paint by number. So.
Well, and depending on what the assignment is. So cubism, you're often filling in specific shapes and so on, but you can also create transitions from one shape to another if you're going to the next level with it. So it's, don't feel like there's something wrong because it's sort of paint by number at this stage.
I often find my underpaintings look paint by number, right? Because you're sort of blocking it in, and then you can sort of look at it like, is the color distribution good? Yeah. Okay, it's too simple here. Yeah, this.
And it's hard edge, so therefore it looks paint by number and feels that way because you're doing a flat color.
Shadows and some fades and a little additional detail where you think it's
dimensional transitions can be nice. Where one shape is laying on top of the other shape, and so you create a nice dark shadow, as you can see in my hands here.
Yeah, and then it gives
and it fades on the lower one.
Feels like two different planes. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
I'm thinking this might be dry. I'm doing a little experiment. I decided to get out my big plate because I still had residue from last 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Because it's been a time, let me tell you. Yes. So for all kinds of reasons. Pardon the noise.
So Cherie has joined us. Hello,
hey, Cherie.
She says, hey guys, working on a transfer COVID mask in a Pottery Barn shadow box I found left on the curb on one of my walks.
Oh.
Ooh, nice score. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And Val says she got her vaccine, no problems. That's good.
Great.
She had
Because you were having
last
problems.
time.
Yeah.
Showed up with like, no. So
yeah, that was.
Annie says Duncan Hines Devil's Food chocolate
Oh.
with cherry pie filling.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God. So it's going to be kind of like Black Forest cake.
Yeah, she says not quite from scratch, but I had to add my own eggs, oil, and water. Exactly.
It's going to be great. I remember my grandmother used to like Duncan Hines mixes, and I liked them quite a lot too, although not so much as a baker.
Well, yeah, and we, because of Kim's multiple food allergies, when and if we make cake, which is not nearly enough,
it's from scratch.
It's from scratch, just so that we can.
Just so I can eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no point making a cake that you can't eat, right?
That's right.
Cherie says, I'm a slow bleeder. When I donate, 2 other people will come and go in the time it takes me to get one
wow.
bag. They told me to drink more, as if I need an excuse. But they meant water.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? If they'd meant something else, you would have been fine. Oh, isn't that interesting? I've got the lower layer peeling up.
Oh, it's already picking up on the roller.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
see, I'm laying down some white to do a pickup print, and some of the lower layers are coming up on my brayer. Sorry, there you can see the orange. Yeah. So anyway, I'll just see what happens, I can do, and what happens, right?
Yeah. Oh, trust Rebecca to have a cool thing like this. She says, Kirk and I are doing food from a different country each Sunday.
Oh, wow.
First one yesterday was Kuwait. So he made a Kuwaiti perfume cake. Wow.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've never...
You guys.
First of all, I have no knowledge whatsoever of...
Kuwaiti cuisine?
Kuwaiti cuisine.
No, exactly. There's no reason you would.
Like...
Without
general
setting
sort
out.
of pan Middle Eastern, I know a little bit about, very little, but I don't know any of the regional.
Oh dear! Knocked something down.
A perfume cake. Wow.
Okay, just getting a larger piece of paper ready.
It's only fun until someone loses an eye.
Oh well. I guess that's why we have 2 of them. There we go.
Now, that's funny, but it's not so funny as an artist. So just keep those glasses on.
That gives you an idea of where I'm at, guys. Yeah. Oh, there's a tsunami coming. Oh, okay. Guess I'll get my raincoat on.
Right.
Wear my boots. Okay, I've got to roller off this stuff here.
You know, Rebecca, sometimes I'm just trying to think of what it is. I think sometimes Turkish Delight has a flavor that reminds me of perfume a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I had Turkish Delight, but I used to buy it when we went to Nob Hill Farms.
Yeah.
In
the East End.
That'll date me.
Yeah. That was a great store. It was tragic when that was closed. Basically because the owner didn't want to modernize it.
Perfume cake has saffron, rose water, cardamom, etc. It was tasty, but veganizing it made it a bit dense. Right.
Right. Wow. Yeah. I bet. Okay. Because I'm doing a pickup print, I'm working harder than average on burnishing.
Right. To ensure that it hopefully picks up as much as possible.
You know, doing what I can, right?
Ensure, quote unquote. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
it seemed to be.
I mean, some of it was peeling off on the Brayers, so hopefully that's a help, right?
Val says, Rebecca, what a great idea. I think I might steal it. I think I might steal that idea too, Rebecca. Because
I think we should all steal the idea.
Yeah. You know, we've been eating at home like crazy, obviously, since the pandemic, with the occasional takeout, but really my repertoire is pretty limited. So sort of saying, okay, pick a country, find out, it gives you a little structure to do a little research. And so, yeah, I'm going to steal that. Great. Cherie says, my friend Carol has asked me to relay a message. She's been watching for a couple of months and is enjoying the sessions very much. Her only regret is she can't click on like, but she does.
Aww. Yes, I guess you need to be signed in to a YouTube account or a Gmail account on YouTube in order to like. That's so sweet. Please thank her and let her know how pleased we are that she's enjoying them, because
and if you're with us today, Carol, so glad you are.
Yeah, because that's just lovely.
Rebecca says she stole it from a guy on the Great Canadian Baking Show.
Well, great idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea.
So I should share with you, this is what's left on my plate.
So you obviously got a lot.
Got a lot off, but of course I had got some off on the roller. So what's left is not what I was expecting, but I think it's definitely a good base for some more printing.
And you've got some vestigial drawing there, eh? Was there a drawing on the plate originally?
It was the figurative mask I used 2 weeks ago,
right?
Of a woman crouching.
Yeah,
and some arches as well.
Oh, right.
And you can't really make them out as such, but the magenta is from 2 weeks ago. The orange, the blue, the white, and peach is all from today.
That sort of erratic but crisp black shape on the side is really interesting to me.
Yeah, so it's peeking through. I had done a layer before of a partial and semi-transparent white, and then laid down. It's actually Payne's gray.
Oh, okay.
But it's very dense.
You can see it where it gets white. You can see the blue more.
Not only is it just sort of dense in its application, but what I was using was golden Payne's gray. If I had used I think Liquitex Basics now has a Payne's gray. I don't have it, but I think they have. I mean, I don't think I have it. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, no, I don't have it. They do have one, though, in the smaller tube. But it wouldn't look as deep and dark as that just because of the sheer amount of pigment in the golden paints, right? So, yeah.
Cherie says, "Wow, I can't believe you can pick up a print 2 weeks later."
Yeah, you can. It doesn't necessarily lift as well as if you do it at the time, having let it dry though, because you're picking up. But because it may cling tenaciously to the plate. But that's actually why I was working with these golden paints for the pickup print. Not only are they golden paints as opposed to the Liquitex Basics, which is a student grade paint officially, whereas this is pro. Wow, just looking at the crackle finish on my label here. See that?
Yeah.
Look at that crazy crackle. Anyway, distracted much? But it's high viscosity paint, and I wanted to try using a high viscosity for picking up. And I think it's because it was high viscosity that it was coming up on my roller.
Right.
Because I think the high viscosity is stickier. It actually might help pick up prints.
Right.
Because I had a situation a few weeks ago where I had something that just would not pick up. So I ended up having to just wash my plate.
Oh my goodness.
And that's, which is really annoying, right? Because it's so much easier to wash a plate where you've basically cleaned it by picking up. And it happens sometimes, but I thought, I wonder if the high viscosity paint would do a better job. I had to beg Kal for his titanium white high viscosity because mine's empty. I haven't bought paint in quite a while, so trying to use up stuff, right? But white is one of those things.
Well, and I actually have a really big tub of white.
Oh, do you?
after that.
Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
can fill up one of your containers if you want. So, yeah.
Wow. Lucky me, eh?
So a couple of things to relay.
Great.
Rebecca, of course, Rebecca is systems girl. So
Yeah.
So she's got the Sunday night different or Sunday different meal.
Yep.
So we found a random country generator and are researching a couple of countries ahead. So we have time to get any hard to find ingredients. Next Sunday is Laos.
Oh, fabulous. Wow.
And Marie Payne has joined us, and she says, "Hi guys, interested in jelly printing, but never tried it, nor do I have the supplies. Soon, so much to play with."
So one thing you should know, just in case this is an issue for you, whether because of cost or because of difficulty getting supplies, is that there are recipes for making jelly plates. I believe if you go to my website to where I have my courses, although I don't have any new courses being offered there, I have a list with hot links of all the courses that you can buy replay videos of. I'm not saying this so that you rush out and buy a replay video, although of course feel free. But if you find the gel plate printing one, gel plate monoprinting one, or Jelly Jam, I think I call it. And there's Jelly Jam 1 and there's Jelly Jam 2. One or the other or both have a downloadable PDF recipe in my, as I recall. And so you'll just find it there in my courses and events page on my website. My website, for anyone who doesn't know, is Kim Lee Co. All one word, all lowercase, .ca. .com will also get you there. Okay. So anyway, a homemade jelly plate. You know, one of the difficulties is if you've never done gel plate printing, then you don't necessarily know if you've made a successful gel plate because you don't know what it should feel like. But anyway, I just offer that for anybody who wants to try gel plate printing without sourcing a commercial gel plate. That's what I'm using. I have ones by Jelly Arts, and Gel Press is another brand I use. And I may or may not have one by Speedball, but it's definitely a company I would recommend.
Marie says, "Thanks, Kim. I'll definitely take a look."
Great. Yeah, I you know, in my copious free time, I'm going to make some homemade plates, in part just to test them, test a couple of recipes I have, including the one that's on that page, but I've also found another one. And the other reason is because I want to make different sizes, bigger sizes, but maybe just different sizes. So that's an opportunity to do that, right? So I need to set this aside to dry, and I need to work with this residue, which is fun. And I'm just thinking about what I might do. See if I have any big shape. Oh, I do have one big shape. Oh, well, let's see if I have another big shape. So I should mention today that it's particularly meaningful for me today to be here with you in community, in lovely, congenial, nurturing community, because my father is in hospital, and I know some of you already know that. But the latest update is quite bad. So being here, chatting with you, doing things like this is way better for me than stewing in my own juices today. So I really appreciate that we have this
Yes, thank goodness for artistic community.
Yeah,
Community, period, but artistic community
especially. Yeah. Now, I have a bunch of circles here that might be fun. This is kind of a fun shape. Eccentric.
That's a great shape.
It looks like a shape that could be animated, you know.
Totally, I can see it
little
walking
character.
along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got eyes and a mouth. I mean,
that's right.
It's like a Halloween building on stilts or something.
There's another odd shape.
Nice.
You know, odd shapes can be really great to work with.
That last one is Matisse worthy.
Well, thank you for the compliment. Boy.
Rebecca says, I'm sorry to hear that the news is bad. And
thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. And Annie says, prayers for healing to your dad.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
And I missed Val. She says, so sorry to hear your father is not doing well.
Thanks, Val. On a positive note, my singing lessons are going pretty well. Singing lessons are saving my life right now, is going through all the stress of that is what's going on. So that's a great thing. Okay, I've got kind of an idea. We'll see.
Look out, she's got an idea.
We'll see what happens, right? I think maybe I'll use these circles. You know, I think because of things going on right now, some kind of order is in order. Okay, you can't see what I'm doing on my plate. I just realized. So apologies, everybody.
Do you want me to put the overhead at this point? Would that be
maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that.
Look away, everybody, because there's going to be seasick making.
Cal's going to slow down as he moves the camera gently over to the overhead position. Oops. Slow that down. That's the seasick making stuff. It was like that. There we go. Oops. Look at that. Okay, it needs to come out this. No, go back that way. There we go. Much better. Look at that. We have the technology for overhead. I mean, Rebecca, I hope Kirk would be proud of us.
For our
after all these.
Yeah, and eventually we'll have software where we can just switch it instead of making people sick while we move them.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Exactly. So Susan Abbott has joined us. And
hi, Susan.
Hi, looking forward to more jelly plate magic. I like those shapes.
Yes, so I've punched these out of various kinds of paper at various points in time, and I just keep them in a page protector in my binder. And most of them I'm actually breaking out to use for the first time. I made extra, who knows what I even punched them out for originally, you know. But these are kind of nice. On the topic, last time we were jelly printing here, that your masks and stencils can become wonderful collage.
Yeah, totally.
Pieces.
I like that one that's got the little shots of color. It's off to have new experiences now, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spot colors.
Hello, dear.
That's a graphic design joke. Sorry, guys. Everyone's like, what?
Okay, the problem is you say something like that, and then it's like, I'm thinking I should explain what that reference
don't
is.
Bother.
But it's tedious and
exactly. It's not worth it.
Yeah. So If anyone's dying to know, you can say in the chat that you're dying to know, but I can pretty much promise you it's not worth
it isn't.
I
can assure you.
Okay, I've got to figure out what colors I'm going to put here. And so that, you know, the nice thing about a jelly plate being transparent is you can sort of see what you've already got. So I think what it needs is some dark colors at this point. What's this? Yeah, a little cad red deep. Why not, eh? Okay. So I realize some of you are working away on things, but if you're able to answer, just answer when you can, and feel free to not if you're busy. I'm just wondering who's been getting out in their garden with all the early blooms and everything. And did everyone survive? Did all your flowers survive the little taste of
snow?
Winter we had?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Wasn't it?
I actually meant to go out for a walk in that, and it melted so quickly.
Yeah, you didn't get a chance.
Yeah, I thought,
yeah, it'd be interesting
to get the last blast of winter.
So that was a bit of deep violet that I just laid down. So now I'm back to using the Liquitex Basics paints. There's no commitment on my part that I'm going to stick with them.
Crazy girl.
You know, anything. It's virtual studio party. Almost anything could happen. It's that kind of place, isn't it, Cal?
It is. So Rebecca answers about your comment about Kirk appreciating our low tech. She says, "I'm sure he would be, and you know he loves the real transitions, etc."
Oh,
so
yeah.
He probably even likes the moving camera.
He likes getting seasick.
He and everyone else not.
Yeah.
Annie says, "My magnolia blossoms have some browning, but I think they'll still be beautiful."
Oh, good.
I never plant anything until the May long weekend. Well, that is a very sound strategy in this climate, isn't it?
That's the rule of thumb I've always gone with. The little planting I occasionally, once in a blue moon, do.
Yeah, we haven't had one of those blue moons in quite a while.
Not in quite a while. Not since the skunk or raccoons or whoever it was dug up all our flowers and hostas.
All your efforts, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the hostas hung in there for a while, but they never really recovered.
Yes, and what differentiates us from everyone else is everyone else would be like, "Oh dear, look at this. Let's fix this." And we're like, "Oh dear, look at that.
Well,
let's go back inside."
Yeah. We just get tired when we see it like that.
Rebecca says, "I have cold frames, so I have peas, spinach, lettuce, and baby bok choy."
Oh, that is impressive.
So I had to cover them up a couple of times recently. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I'm sure they're
Tender
thriving
greens.
under your tender administrations.
Yeah, I'm sure. We know so many people who are growing food either in their apartment or their yards. There, okay. I must say, I love what happened. Oops. Let's look at the beautiful. Like, I wish I could peel off the surface of that brayer. It's so rich.
It looks great.
Okay, I've got way too much goopy paint on here. That's fine. I'm just going to take a piece of deli paper and take some off.
Cherie says, I planted my lettuce and herb seeds that are nestled under my indoor warm grow light.
Ah,
That's
lovely.
Smart. Yeah, give them a head start indoors. Good plan.
I have this vague idea that I'm going to clear off a bookshelf. Wait, I'm just waiting for Cal to laugh. And then put a grow light on the top of that bookshelf and little pots of herbs underneath.
I didn't hear anything like a laugh.
I didn't either.
Yeah?
I'm kind of shocked. I don't know what to make
Oh
of
my
that.
goodness. Is he becoming supportive after all these years?
Well, I don't know that that's really the issue at all. I think it's other things. I'm a woman of many plans. Well, more ideas than plans,
Yes.
but still plenty of plans.
Susan Abbott says, I have some seedlings started indoors, but the squirrels do wreak wanton destruction, so I grow in containers and use plastic mesh to keep them out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's an ongoing battle for the garden dominance.
Yeah, squirrels are really
tenacious.
Yeah, but I know we have skunks, and I think that when we plant new plants that are growing lovely roots and thriving, lovely new roots and thriving, that there's grubs are endemic in our old neighborhood, and so I think the skunks like to dig up the plants to get to the grubs.
Annie says, beautiful colors. Lovely colors, sorry.
Thank you. It's more random feeling than I'm used to doing, but I picked a palette of 3 colors that would work together. So, well, that's interesting.
Valerie says, we have a vegetable garden just waiting for nicer weather to start planting.
Right.
And Rebecca says, indoors with grow lights and heat, I have tomatoes, pepper, squash, not up yet, calendula, Brussels sprouts, etc.
Oh my God. You are amazing.
Do you have any room to move in there, Rebecca?
Sure. Well, she has to have room for her art supplies. Let's face it, right? Okay, I'm just trying to get a handle on how it looks on the other side to get an idea of, oh, I know what I want to do. Okay. Or at least I have part of the idea of what I want to do. I'm going to get out one of my favorite colors for color systems. And what would work well with that?
A nice Chianti.
I think this would work well with it. Okay. I guess I have to wait for that to dry. So where's my cardboard?
Rebecca says, my outdoor stuff is all in containers and raised beds with mesh/greenhouse covers to keep out squirrels.
Same thing, eh? Yeah.
And then
the wily squirrels.
And then not much, she says. I think maybe in response.
Oh, not much space. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, she's really using the space she has. Exactly. I think that's great.
No, that's brilliant.
I mean, very nicely too. Growing food, making art, living.
I think Rebecca is our queen of intentionality.
Yeah.
I should do her a t-shirt with that.
That's right. It's the thing about pickup prints, guys. You got to
wait for the darn stuff to dry.
Get it to dry. Well, while it does that, I can mix together some color, because I think what I'll do is mix some of this high viscosity white with the 2 colors I want, because I think when these dry, they'll be closer to mid value, and too close to mid value anyway for my liking, and I'll want them a little lighter than that.
Rebecca says, I try, but not always successful on the follow through. Well,
Uh,
it's all a question of percentages,
Yeah,
Rebecca.
yeah.
Trust me. And I'm sure your percentage is
you're
good.
doing great.
Yeah.
So
Annie-
well done, you.
Annie, oh, sorry, I'm behind here.
Oh, got lots of more chat going, obviously.
Yep. Cherie says, I have to clear out my small raised bed in the backyard, which has been the neighborhood cat's litter box since spring
Oh,
thaw.
God. Oh, that's
I know,
hard, isn't it?
It's I know, like when our neighborhood animals have a poop on our lawn, it's like I have enough trouble just even doing anything in my. I don't
Paying
need
any attention to
additional help
Oh.
for additional things to do. But
Yeah.
but I'm also grateful that they're in the neighborhood. So she says,
Most of them.
yeah, most of them. Yeah. I made a strong chicken wire tunnel that keeps the groundhog out. Wow.
Oh, wow.
that would take some work. I'm sure he's a hungry guy.
Oh, and groundhogs,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah.
Wow.
Valerie says our dogs manage to keep the squirrels at bay. Yeah, so you don't have the squirrel problem, but you have to keep the dog from trampling it all, right? in his squirrel chases.
Yeah. There's a yard that we're 2 blocks away from a park that follows a creek, and so there are a whole bunch of houses that back onto the park, and one of the houses they have made a kind of around the perimeter of their backyard. It's sort of the dog run, and the 2 dogs are like,
very energetic.
If you live next to a park, it's a good idea not to raise your dog to react to every single stimulus. But they do, which means that they're essentially, they never stop barking and running around like crazy in their run with the frantic energy to go with their barking. And they run around that so much that it's like the Appalachian Trail. It's compacted dirt that's lower than the rest of the yard.
And no growth whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, because it's way too compacted by the dogs running. So it's ridiculous. And
this Annie says, wow, that looks like one of your series, Kim. And she's right.
Yeah, it would go well with the radiants and radials. And
Val has it all figured out, I have to tell you. She says our beds are raised so the dog stays out.
That's good.
Yeah, so dogs don't get in the beds, but the squirrels don't get in the beds because of the dogs anyway. So that's
yeah, they really have figured it out.
Smacks of systems.
Okay, it's nice to mix a bit of paint. It's not something I do a lot of these days, so that's a lovely. I haven't actually sat down and done painting for since my redhead show, I guess, right?
Yeah. You had, what year was that? 2019, right? You had a very hectic show.
I did a lot of painting. I did a lot of new work. I did a lot of big shows. So.
And then one very early in 2020, and then you thought, and boy, do I need a rest. And then okay,
and then COVID happened.
Here's your enforced rest.
So if I'm responsible for all this, I do apologize.
Cherie says we have a fox family in the hood. Oh
wow!
Dad is red and Mom is black. Wow! I've seen red foxes definitely in the city, but not a black one.
That's amazing.
Black with a white tipped tail. Wow.
How beautiful.
No fear. They're keeping the squirrels in check.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Luckily not interested in our cats or dogs. Yes.
Well, that's good. Yeah, if coyotes are bigger than foxes, so they're more interested in the little dogs and cats. Now, a bit of this paint is still wet, which tells you I didn't dab quite enough of the thick paint off with my Deli paper.
Well, you are sort of talking and working, and that's
I am.
Challenging, right?
It's true. It's true. Now, I hope I've mixed enough of this these 2 colors. I don't actually know that I have. But I might risk doing this anyway, even though some of it's still wet, and in theory that should preclude my putting my next layer on. I'm just foolhardy that way. Either brave or foolhardy. You can decide.
Rebecca answers Cherie. She says, that's cool. The black variety of red foxes is unusual around here. I'll say I've never, if you said, is there a black variety of red foxes at all, I would have said, not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Are there places, Rebecca, where there are more of them? Anyway, she says they mostly like to eat smaller things like rodents, which is, yes.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I want squirrel populations decimated, but controlled wouldn't be a bad idea, especially based on what I'm hearing today. Okay. Nope, it's picking it up again. All right. Lightly.
Gimme go lightly.
Or something. Now my wet paper towel is shredding as I wipe the brayer. It's a constant adventure trying to make some art, Can you rip me off a new sheet of paper from this while I struggle with my paint here?
Most certainly.
Thank you, dear.
I just looked up because I've got a slight delay on my monitor, and I looked up and the screen went white as the
because of the paper. Right.
Oh no.
But in fact, it's all right.
And I should pull off some of these bits that are going to end up in the prints otherwise.
Okay. Well, who knows how this is going to work out, but it's worth trying, right?
Well, Kim knows. She's got the master plan.
All right.
Cherie says, my brother has stopped putting out birdseed, which attracts rats, which attracts the fox.
Oh my God.
Like an urban version of I know an old lady who swallowed a fly.
Right. Oh, how awful to be attracting rats.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, I don't know. I have a thing about rats ever since two things influence my, now not white lab rats, right? But the more, the free range kind. I saw the movie 1984 back when I was growing up. And there's a scene where they torture him by bringing rats into his space or something. But then I lived in Kensington Market for a while, and there are a lot of rats in Kensington Market. In fact, I have a good story about a rat. Pretty funny story. My grandmother lived with us. My family lived in a house in Kensington Market, and my grandmother had this really great old cat. She had been originally just a wild cat, like a feral cat. My grandparents got her from the litter, and she was super intelligent and a fabulous hunter, and very, very well socialized, very, very friendly, and did tricks even. But when we moved to Kensington, she was already quite old then. She discovered, wow, rat hunting, awesome. And one morning, my grandmother, bleary-eyed, like me, she was not a morning person. She, dangled her feet off the edge of the bed and was reaching around blind for her slippers, just using her feet to look for the slippers, and her foot hit something that didn't feel right. It was kind of fuzzy, but it wasn't fluffy. She looks down, and it's a rat. And Mitzi the cat is sitting at a short remove, sitting tall, looking proud, looking like, look what I brought you, Mom. It's all my grandmother could do, not just scream. But she was also a very practical lady, so she dealt with the rat. But what a thing to be presented with first thing in the morning, before you've had your coffee, before you've even really opened your eyes properly. So,
So
yeah.
our fox expert replies,
Mm-hmm.
not sure how common the black is, but I've only seen them in New England. Red foxes come in all kinds of colors, gray, red, black, brown to pale red, but they all have that white tail tip.
Amazing.
Yeah. Cherie says the rats have appeared with the demolition of the Campbell Soup Factory.
What's going on with the focus on this camera?
Uh-oh.
Hello, can you focus down here, please?
What's going on?
Hello.
There, now your hand is in focus.
Oh, and mine, it's blurry.
Well, when it was high, but now...
Okay, this is not going to work if it's going to be like that. What on... Yeah, so this is in focus.
Yeah, I've got a delay compared to you, so... That's weird. I like it.
That is so strange. We'll focus on this.
No, as soon as it goes away, it's like it's got a...
There, that's the distance at which it will be focused. But, you know, we really need to be able to get a wider shot than that little camera. Okay, that focused. Oh, Kirk would be loving this. The realities of life on a live stream. Okay, it's doing better.
It is adjusting as it goes down.
I'm just giving it really slow
increments.
Yeah, so that it adjusts. See, it would never have been focused before when it was malfunctioning. Okay. So now if I put it down, that looks better, right? Good. Okay, so this is what I have. Whoops. Which has the structure of those circles. And you can see there's actually quite a bit of residue left on the plate. But I think we've got something interesting going on here.
It seems to be functioning again.
Yeah, that's good. There is a really interesting, I think this center circle has a kind of interesting, let me point it properly, thing going on.
Yeah,
the layers of color there are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I'll let that one dry. This first one I did must be dry by now, I'm thinking.
Cherie says, a cat gift. Your grandma must have loved it. Or your grandma was loved. Sorry.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It was definitely like, look at this fat, beautiful rat I'm giving to you instead of just playing with and eating myself.
And Lori Graham, who has joined us.
Oh, hi, Lori.
Hey, Lori.
Welcome back.
Says, I like the layers.
Thank you.
And Rebecca says, it's good. It gives us time to see your print. and Val says, the texture is great.
Yeah, it's got some good texture. I'm all about the distressed look, apparently, today. That's fine. Well, because I was starting with a pickup print, too, that was likely to happen. So maybe I'll have a little fun with textures just to break it up a bit, you know? I think this might be worth trying. Some high viscosity. It's just using that luscious deep Payne's gray again. Now I am going to add a little bit of that's upside down. There we go.
Susan Abbott says, we're all trying to do things with those ubiquitous mesh bags.
I love those mesh bags, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I had more time to play because I would do a lot more with them.
That container that you see off to the side is actually one that she took a container downstairs to her many color-coded containers of different colors and just got a little smattering of them.
To my filing system.
Yeah,
of,
exactly. So she's got
mesh bags.
Like a big box of the purple, a big box of the yellow, a big box of the green, of the red, of the orange. So, yeah.
Pink and white I've grouped together, I think, because they don't get much of those.
But you have ideas about embedding them in paintings, right?
I have embedded them into things, but not again. I haven't done enough of it. I've been able to try it out, basically. Just going to add a little more of the medium. Oops. Just keeping the paint workable longer. You know, with central heating, the open time of the paints is pretty narrow. And depending on what you want to do, it might be too narrow. So, except for the times when it can't dry fast enough, right?
I'm hoping that by the time in another 10 years they'll have voice activated paint that responds to the words dry or wet. Yeah.
That would be great. I wouldn't put it past them.
Little nano receptors in the paint.
Yeah.
That activate drying or
they might have had it already if there was a strong enough commercial imperative, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
art doesn't tend to be the biggest reason technologies to get developed.
No, and usually for industrial purposes, or they know, like, oh, this is a process that benefits from quick drying, or this is a process that benefits from slower drying. So
yeah. Okay.
They don't have the variable need.
Random piece of plastic. Oh, there's a little random scrap of mesh. Look at this little scrap I've got here. I'm going to throw that in because that's sort of fun.
Always an adventure.
This is why you want to have some open time on the paint, so you can figure things like this out.
Well,
and the bigger the surface area, the more true that is too.
Have you got some open medium, or is it too late for that this time?
I was showing that I was using that earlier.
Okay. Good.
You just were looking down at the time.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm busy doodling.
You weren't paying rapt attention? Oh. Good Lord. I'm shocked and appalled.
I'm in the doghouse now.
I'm shocked and appalled.
Yep. Okay. Tell you what, honey, for that I'll make you supper. Kim's like,
that sounds like a good deal. I know a good deal when I've got one. Okay, so I've got some meshes. You know, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but that's why we try things, right? So first, the deli paper is not quite large enough for the plate. So I'm going to do a negative print first. This really...
Well, I'm surprised it's picking up anything through the thickness of the mesh.
Yeah, so the burlap's particularly thick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm using deli paper, or I would use some other sort of thin paper, preferably with a little bit of strength to it, or a thin paper. Yeah, and this is where you have to use your fingers to get into the...
Susan Abbott has a couple of questions. She asks...
Great.
Or actually, sorry, one question.
Yeah.
Can you reuse the deli paper in collage, or is it too slippery?
No, this is unwaxed deli paper. You absolutely can use this in collage, and it's very thin, so it doesn't creates virtually no added thickness.
Right. So
which can be really, really nice, especially if you're collaging on wet, using medium or Mod Podge or whatever. That will help make it feel even thinner. But it also works with glue stick.
And Val asks, which deli paper do you have? Mine came folded in half.
Yeah, I order from Amazon a specific company, the name of which is escaping me. It ships flat and it's unwaxed. So it's ideal for art. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
I mean, folded in half is great if you're tucking a sandwich in
it. But when I see lots of, YouTubers, YouTube jelly plate demos being done with deli paper that's folded in half, but that fold would drive me crazy, except at specific times when I'm interested in what the fold does, right? Which is definitely not all the time.
Yeah.
So
you'd rather fold it if and when you needed it, right?
Yeah.
So Susan Abbott says, okay, now we need to know where you get this cool deli paper.
Yeah. So I send anybody who takes any of my jelly printing courses, I send a link to it to make it nice and easy.
Yeah.
Or even some of my mixed media courses, just depending. This is it is really good to have it. I had to do a lot of research to find the right one. Okay.
Val says, I got mine from Amazon, but only found the folded ones.
Yeah. There's so many suppliers. I mean, really, like anything on Amazon, right? Amazon
can be pretty bewildering.
We go hunting for lighting, for example, on Amazon for these live streams and classes, and for photography and so on. And honestly, the years of my life that I have devoted to
you can't get back
to researching such things. Okay, so this is fun. This is my negative print. Isn't that fun? Bring it up closer. Oops. Oops. Sorry, I'm no good at figuring things out backwards. But I love the fringe on the burlap there. I just think that that's delicious. Okay, so having done that, I'm now going to remove these meshes.
Susan says, looks great.
Ooh, I like what it's leaving on the plate there. So I think I'd like to activate that with a color. So I'm going to fan this.
Lori says, like old-fashioned lace.
Yeah, it does have a real lace effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Which is really interesting since lace is such a fine fabric, fine textile involving,
and burlap
is absolutely the opposite. Yeah. And these plastic mesh produce bags are the modern day opposite, like just used to package up some fruit or vegetables. Okay, so I think I need to dry this some more.
Lori says, like a shawl.
Yes, very. Yeah, the most recent workshop I taught in jelly printing was not that long ago for Quest Art, and I was very happy they sold out. And that was just a 3-hour workshop. They want to have me back, but because of the situation with my father, I'm actually really scaling back my commitments in a big way.
Yeah, it's not a time to commit to too much right now.
Yeah, so I can't even figure out dates for stuff in the summer. Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, it's not in me. I can do this. This I can manage because it's gentle and it's just a little on camera play, which I'm practiced at doing, and it's community, so that's different. But my business head is not very with me.
Nor does it need to be.
Okay, I think that, that's still wet. So I'm just wondering, I could do a very light blotting. Just like not even pressing, just making contact to get the wettest parts blotted. Yeah, like that. That can be a good idea sometimes when the paint is uneven, and which isn't usually, it's not what you're shooting for in printmaking in general, to have uneven thicknesses of paint. But of course, there's going to be some variation when you're doing this kind of thing. And when you need it to dry more quickly.
Cherie says, you have your priorities straight, Kim. The rest will wait. And Rebecca says, the plate is looking great.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, eh? So there's lots of texture in here. Maybe if I get another, can you tear off another white sheet of paper for me, Lou?
I will do that.
It's so handy to have a studio assistant. And believe me, I need more assistants than the average bear. Just trying to navigate what I have here on my table. I thought if I put this paper underneath, you could see what the texture looks like, and I could see what the texture looks like. more vividly. Okay, let's get to the darker areas. So you can see the sort of diamond shapes of the mesh a little bit in around there.
Yeah.
And
So
very,
so
very
delicious.
textured,
Yeah.
eh? Yeah, so I think I'm going to need some red oxide for this.
Lori says, a wonderful community that's here for you too. And it's true.
So blessed, honestly.
And,
thank you, every one of you, for being part of this community.
Lori says of the what you're showing, like an X, looks like an X-ray, and it does. It has that sort of.
Yes, it does take on that sort of quality when you, after you pull off the negative print, and you get the texture read on it. It can look like cyanotypes, and if I had used cyan, it could look like a cyanotype.
And Val asks, do you have plans for these prints, or are you just like me and have a big stack waiting for inspiration?
I have a binder with and a fancy, a high quality Ziploc type bag that stores the best prints. Some are just prints is what they're going to be, and some will become parts of mixed media.
Right.
So I do have prints that are just prints. Like I have that usual problem for me of I have a bunch of things I haven't even offered for sale or anything because some of them I'm not convinced I'm ready to part with.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yep.
And there's a level of organization and so on that I don't have. I had a lot of big plans this year for my website and so on that would have helped with all of this. But so yes, I do have a variety of plans, Val, and so stay tuned, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah.
I find that I have lots of plans, but then it's fits and starts. Like something else has to take priority. Like I think it's the nature of being an artist. Unless you have studio assistants, you have to wear all the hats, right?
Yeah.
So
a lot of hats.
You'll put the marketing hat or the website hat on for a little while, and then you push that ahead. And meanwhile, your artistic practice is withering. So you get back to your artistic practice, and which part of your practice, right?
Well, there are clever artists who maybe don't have family crises going on. Who, Thursday is the day they ship work, and Wednesday is the day they work on their website, and Tuesday is the day, so, there are people who are like that. We are not among those people, I'm sad to say. But on the other hand, there are ways in which I'm not so sad to say that. So, it's all trade-offs.
Annie from a little bit earlier says, love it. So many great prints today.
Thank you, Annie. It's, this is the thing, giving yourself up to the process leads to all kinds of interesting stuff happening. Like, I think that there's a real Turner-esque thing going on in the darker areas of this print. And so I'm going to put some underlying colors that I hope will bring some of that out. And so I'm going to start, if I can find a palette knife. There we go. I'm going to start laying in some colors to reveal the kind of perforations in quotes in the paint. And, as soon as I saw this, red oxide came to mind. So I'm going to put some red oxide here. Maybe here and here. And then I'm going to lay a mix of cad yellow and yellow oxide. Maybe put a bit of yellow oxide in there. And where's my Titan unbleached titanium? Get a bit of that in here. Yeah. It's going to be a complicated.
I'll say.
And then I'm going to blend. Okay, I'm going to put some. Now this cad red has a funny texture to it, so we'll see how well that
plays
works
with the others.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I had one of my great joys with painting is mixing up just the right color on the palette.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'm so sick of mixing colors. And so when I jelly print, it's kind of fun because you sort of throw it down and then the mixing is the rollering of it, right? Or
Yeah. I mean, you can pre-mix like I did with the
totally.
tinted colors, but no, I mean the brayer brings in a whole other set of
and you can decide
properties.
Where you want to stop, right?
Yeah. So I have too much paint down.
I was going to say that's going to be a lot of.
But it's going to allow me to mix in a painterly way, and of course I've got a very coated in paint brayer. That's always handy for these things, isn't it? So I'm just going to clean my brayer a little bit.
kimscoatedbrayers.com.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really coated and a bit too textured, but you know, where's my shorter brayer? My 2-inch brayer. It's gone. It's somewhere.
There.
You see it? Can you? Oh, there it goes. Paint on the floor.
I'll see.
Good thing it's not hardwood or anything. Can you imagine? Note to everyone listening, it is hardwood, but it is really in very rough shape hardwood, so I'm not excessively concerned about it. It's a palette knife. You're just dabbing it.
Looking for the hit, but I don't see where it was.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
No, that just means we'll step in it later.
It's not like it was covered in globs of paint, but it did have paint on it. That's all.
That's fine.
Okay, so this is a bit of a dog's breakfast if this was what I was printing. But, of course, this will be on the base layer of the actual print.
And Rebecca says, better than carpet.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
That's funny. You know what my first thought, as you said that, Rebecca, is like to get a big piece of carpet and to paint on it, like as a canvas. So how interesting that would be.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you here are oil painters, but Harold Clunder once shared the fact that he gets those books of carpet samples, and he uses that for getting most of the oil paint out of his brushes.
Oh.
Before he has to clean them, and then he never has to use any solvents or toxic cleaners because that gets most of it out, and then he uses Sunlight dish detergent to get the rest out, which is good at cutting through oil, of course. And that's the end of it. So this paint is way too globby, so I'm going to do a little blot session here.
Blot session.
Blotting with Kim.
I should give you a heads up that you have about 10 minutes. 3:20
Well,
right now.
hopefully I can finish this little run here. There's actually something I wanted to try that oh geez, something interesting is coming up now. That's going to be interesting.
Wow.
So not so much of a dog's breakfast as I thought. I just need to blot a little bit from over here.
Jelly Deli.
Okay. All right. Duly blotted. Now, oh, the paper's underneath. Here's my paper. If only I had room to do the actual printing, eh? That would be awesome.
There's some mixed paint here. It's not so good.
Not so good, no.
Annie says, like my oak dining room table of 20 plus years used for quilting with a rotary cutter, art table, and the occasional dinner.
Yeah, the occasional dinner.
Good.
This is our sometimes dining table here. We have another table just like it that's piled high with things. I clear it off periodically and then it gets piled high again.
Yeah.
You know, you do what you can, but honestly,
we thought we're artists, and because we several years ago I redid our kitchen using IKEA cabinets, and they give you at the time there was an opportunity to get gift certificates,
gift cards, yeah.
So we thought, okay, well, we use those to buy 2 long dining tables
with adjustable lengths.
Yeah,
like
so they have the leaves. Yeah,
can have seat 6 or seat 10.
Yeah,
in theory.
And so we thought, and if we get 2 of them, they'll go all the way along. We have an L-shaped living dining. We can go all the way along one way with small gaps, and we'll have one for eating and we'll have one for art. And really, it's like 2 for art. And we eat in our laps in the living room.
Well,
usually
breakfast and lunch.
Oh yeah, no, we do use this one.
We clear away a little space. Well, plus we this is where I teach from.
Yeah, it's priorities, right?
So it gets cleared off periodically for that.
But really,
all right.
I mean, it seems like ages since we had a really good dinner party, Kim.
Imagine that, eh? We're not very good at organizing social occasions. The Virtual Collage Jam and Virtual Studio Party are actually astoundingly the most organized we've ever been about something social.
Well, and
because it's also art and all that. So wow, this is like making quite the
crazy.
It sure is. Oh boy. Oh, we got that funny focus thing again. All right, let's get it up here. There we go. We're in focus. Just pull it. It gives you a chance to gradually adjust your view of the print. There's actually some interesting details, there, for example. But there's still tons of textural stuff left on the plate. So I'm going to do a pickup print of what's here.
So Susan said, recently tried using cellophane packing tape to clean Brayers. Worked really well.
Yes, I can see how that could work because it's
nicely.
A skin, right?
Yeah.
So it, I don't worry about in any particular cleaning session getting it down to the original beige rubber. What happens is periodically when I am washing it to get rid of excessive residue, it can still stay, you know, a color of paint or whatever. But it will just spontaneously start to peel off as a skin, and that's the point at which I'll go back down to the beige. Yeah. So
Elaine has joined us. She said,
Hi,
very
Elaine.
late to the party. Hiya, it looks so interesting.
Yes, I'm making a good textured mess here on my big plate and enjoying every minute of it.
And Lori says, I got a white resin project table. It folds and hides behind my couch from Canadian Tire. Ooh,
nice.
That sounds cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Is that like, well, I can look it up on Canadian Tire, but might be like one of those banquet tables.
Like we teach on when we teach for organizations in person. Remember that? Remember we used to teach?
It is starting to fade from memory, I have to say.
Yeah, it's really weird, eh?
Yeah.
Cherie was saying something.
Cherie says, the textures are amazing. Lori says, is anyone else seeing a globe of sorts? Yeah, and Lori says, like a map.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a really cool. Okay, I don't have a stiff paper, so I will.
You want
yeah, I do want a sheet of that, but I'll get this too. There we go. Let's get this down.
Lori says table can be covered for use and used for dinner party.
Yeah, right.
Like in a church basement.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah.
Hey, you put a tablecloth on it.
Exactly.
It doesn't really matter, right? Exactly. It can look very nice with whatever table setting you put on it. That's the
usually other non-artists put the tablecloth on to protect their nice table from their guests.
Oh, forget it.
And we put a nice tablecloth on to protect our table from protect our guests from eyes. Our table.
Yeah. Normally, I would suggest putting a clean piece of paper between the print paper and the roller that still has the brayer that still has some residue, but I don't have time for that because the pickup print relies on the pickup layer being wet. So I have to kind of make haste, or I'm not going to get my print. I'm hoping we get the rest of those textures up, or most of them, you know, those nice Payne's gray textures from the mesh. But we'll see. It's always a...
Sarah Abate says, a tablecloth of your jelly print design. That sounds great.
Yeah, there's an idea.
And Lori says
that's
her
doable. Project
table. I love how huge a surface it is. About 6 feet, I think. Yeah, that's great. And then folds up. Yes.
That is so good. Okay, I'm actually really pleased with this. This is a very textured.
Wow.
So this would be a great ground, addressing Val's question
earlier.
This is a ground on which I could imagine drawing and collaging, and potentially stitching. This is heavier weight paper too, so it would withstand stitching really well. So you can see the whole. Sorry, I'll just adjust that. There's the whole image. Now I'm going to bring it in close so that you can see the details. Whoops, wrong direction, Kim. So you see how it's benefiting from the many, many prints and different colors that I've been using today. And then I've got this delicious residue here, and you can kind of keep going until it either stops picking up anymore or you just get tired of it, and want to clean up and stop.
Sarah says, gorgeous. Lori says, wow. And Lori says, put an anatomical heart on there. I like the way you think.
Absolutely. I love it.
Val says, looks like a beautiful old wall in Italy. I agree, Val.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought. Like
Yeah.
a wall that's had years of paint and dirt and
Definitely.
and patina. It's really beautiful. Marie Payne says, fabulous texture. Size of that plate. Yeah.
It's wonderful to work with. It is harder to work with. So if you're a beginner, it's better to start with something a little smaller.
Just to get used to it.
Yeah. It's a lot of, if you're trying to master principles, it's too much to handle, for you're using up a lot of paint to try and figure out principles. So it's a good idea to give yourself something a little less laborious. But once you're ready to even try it, you don't have to be expert to try it. It's fantastic to have the real estate. So I don't know, going crazy citrusy on myself here. Cheerful colors. Let's go for some cheerful colors.
That looks like high vitamin C right there.
Yeah. This may not work. That's fine. I don't believe I've ever done a pickup print with these citrusy colors before, so I'll have learned something, if nothing else, by attempting it.
Marie queries, what would be the ideal size for beginning? Would you say like a 8x10 or a 5x7? Or
I would start with something like a 5x7
or a 6x6
or a 6x6.
If
you like squares.
Yeah.
That to me is an awesome size to learn first principles with. And honestly, it's fun because you're not spending so much time just getting the coverage. So you get feedback more quickly. It's very, has all the responsiveness with less of the labor and paint use. I still love printing on my small plates. In fact, I have to remind myself to go onto the bigger plates just because it's so much fun.
Yeah, I would second that because Kim's done a fair bit of jelly plate printing and I've just done a little bit, but I've loved playing with the 6x6. It's just such a nice, tasty size.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
And
I think they even have a smaller one, but you get too small and you're not actually learning enough from it because you can't. It's much harder to compose on a 3x5 inch, for example. Of course, you can compose on it, but you're really, our brains really benefit from easy to see feedback.
Yeah.
And the smaller the stuff is, the harder it becomes to understand what you're seeing. So I'm using a premium bond paper this time that's 13 by 19 inches in size. And that layer picked up only small amounts of the residue. It's mostly about the orange and yellow. Mm-hmm. So, hey, something learned there. So white and near white are the most powerful pickup colors to use, paint colors to use. So that's what I'm going to revert to. I know we're a little past 3:30 now, but I'm going to see if I can lift this. And if I can't, we'll see what I lift. I'll lift something. Whether it's what I'm hoping for or not is beside the point.
You'll lift us all up.
Well, thank you, dear. That's nice of you to say. All right, let's see what we've got. Where's my... I've now cluttered my table surface so much I can't even see where my brayer is. Here's hoping that's enough paint. try it. Wow, I like the way it looks on this side. But we'll see. Get this burnished quickly. You passed me a clean burnisher from the brayer from the shelves there.
Yeah.
There you can see nice beige rubber there. Yeah, thank you. That's what a clean one looks like. There we go. Thanks, dear.
You're very welcome.
Okay. While I'm burnishing this, if you enjoyed today and you wouldn't mind giving this video a like, we'd be very grateful. It helps us with the algorithm. And of course, if you're not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe as well. Next week, we have Virtual Collage Jam on Cal's channel, of course.
Yay.
And when is World Collage Day, Cal?
It is, wait for it. It is Saturday, May 8th. So
we're going to have a special...
Yeah, so next week is
edition.
a double hit. So on Monday, May 3rd, we have our usual Virtual Collage Jam. And later this week, I will be sending out the prompt for that. And then on May 8th, Saturday, is World Collage Day. And in honor of that, we are going to have a special collage improv session.
Yeah.
Version of Collage Jam. Same time, 2 p.m., but on Saturday as well. So it's going to be a banner week next week for virtual collaging.
Okay. There's less residue, but the residue that's left on the plate is delicious. I don't know if you can see those colors, but they are
delicious.
Fantastic. Yellows and pinks and greens and blues and oranges and so on. Here is the print, and I'm quite liking that.
Wow, and it's got some
beautiful color plays in it.
Zingy.
Like you can see there.
Mm-hmm.
Go up close. I am very excited about some of those color plays and just the sort of overall textural feel of this. So this is the kind of stuff that I'll be interested in maybe laying down something more graphic feeling, getting that contrast between this complexity and textural and distressed and so on by laying down something graphic. I think is going to be really, really cool. So, there's a little more fun residue here, but let's switch from the overhead now. I can move it. So that I can face you for the, whoops, at least I think I can. Why is it doing that? There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that large gel plate session. I mean, there is I have seen larger ones than this sold, but they start to get really expensive when they get much bigger than this. And frankly, once you're getting to the large ones, I think it makes sense to just make your own in a pan. Just find a good recipe. So
Rebecca says, beautiful, and staying with the interesting distressed texture too.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe the next party, I should work into some of the many grounds I have with what Val was asking, bearing that in mind. And it would be fun because then I, take it into the mixed media realm. I have an artist very much on my mind these days. He's a Toronto contemporary artist called Britt Randall. And if you're on Instagram, you can find him there. He does extraordinary work, drawing and artist books and mixed media things. Anyway, I somehow feel like there's something in his work that I'd like to bring to some of these grounds. So stay tuned. We'll be back with Virtual Studio Party in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marie says, thanks for all your suggestions, your time and energy. And Cherie says, great idea. Take it to the next level. Thanks, Kim. That was inspirational.
Oh, I'm glad. Excuse me. Of course, now I'm choking.
Don't forget to care for the caregiver in you. And Sarah Abade says, yes. Would love to see some of the next steps, Marie Payne says.
Cool.
Lori Graham says, a lovely artist date with you all today. Oh, thank you, Lori. It's been great having you
thanks
along.
so much for coming along,
Yeah.
Lori. It's good to see you here.
Val says, great as always. Thanks. Can't wait to see what you do with these.
Great.
Yeah. And Annie says, that was fun. Take care and be safe. See you both soon. Thanks so much for joining us, Annie.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have you along.
Yeah. All of you, really
Wow,
appreciate
yeah.
you. Especially today, especially in the current circumstances.
Yeah.
So be well, and I hope we'll see you at one or both of the collage jams
coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Thanks so much.
And Susan says, thanks as always for the inspiration. See you next time. Meanwhile, best wishes for your dad. And Rebecca
Thank
says,
you.
Great. Thanks. Great start to our week again.
Awesome. Have a terrific week.
Yeah. And thank you so much, everyone. It's been really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take care.
XO from Elaine.
Aw. Thank you, Elaine. You too.